it is completely natural for your beard hair to fall out. So I lose anywhere between about 20 and 50, I reckon, beard hairs a day. Sometimes if I haven't brushed deeply enough, I feel like there's loads of hairs under here that pull out really easily because they're just not attached to anything. They just kind of got caught and tangled up on the inside of my beard, and then I brush it properly and it all comes out and I go, no! At the end of the day, if I'm working on my computer, there's always hairs around, there's always hairs in my bed in the morning, and so it can feel like a lot of beard hairs are falling out at any one time. But you've got to remember that beard hairs falling out is a natural part of the beard hair cycle. I found an awesome science-based diagram of the beard or hair growth cycle. I'll put a link in the description below to the article that this video is based on, and it just shows you perfectly the 3 stages that the beard hair goes to. But really you want to keep your beard hairs in the growth phase for as long as possible, because when they're growing, they're getting fed nutrients, they've got a great blood supply, and then when they're in the sort of like last telogen phase, just means that your beard hair has fallen out, or it's like easy to pull out, and it just means that it's in resting phase. And so you want to keep it in the growth phase for as long as possible. And in this video, I'll tell you about the elements in your diet that you need to keep it in that phase for longer based on the science and the scientific articles that I have found. But I think there's one sort of like action which removes beard hairs far more than anything else, and we'll talk about that next. This video is based on an article on beardgrowingpro.com, so go check it out. There is tons of information on Beard Growing Pro in general, but this article contains everything you need to know about why your beard hairs pull out so easily. It's got links to studies, it's got steps that you can take, and more that I couldn't squeeze into this video, so go check it out. You won't be disappointed. I feel like twisting of the hair is one of the most damaging actions the hair can go through if you're finding it's pulling it out. Now, pulling on your hair, like tugging on it, doesn't really sort of apply forces in a damaging way. You know, your hair has been designed, or evolved, I should say, to actually sort of like stick into your face quite strongly. And it's only when it's in the last phase of the beard or hair growing cycle that it easily pulls out, and it's just a natural part of it. So pulling and tugging isn't really the most damaging action that your beard can go through. But the pull is the last little thing that means that it pops out and you go, okay, it must be the pulling action, but it's not. I think that it's the twisting action that is far more damaging. Now, if you think about it, the hair root sits inside this kind of like bulb, and it means that it's, you know, easy to pull out like this, but there's something stopping it. It's not until you twist it that the blood supply can get damaged, that you can kind of loosen up the connection on the side of the walls of the hair follicle and the hair root. And so that, I think, the twisting action is the most damaging action. Now, where do we get this twisting action? Well, it is sleeping. I believe that sleeping and moving really puts a lot of torsional strain right at the very root and the very base of each beard hair. And that's because you're just smushing your face against a pillow. Now go check out my other video and the article that just talks about how to protect your beard from while you're sleeping. But sleeping just does a terrible sort of like amount of damage to a beard if you're a heavy sleeper, if you're using, you know, drugs or alcohol to sleep well. And yeah, you know, it's just like, you know, just mucking around. So another thing that can mean that your beard is twisting is this action, like just twisting your beard. Now, it's not so bad when your hair is long because it's got a lot of kind of elasticity, but when your beard hair is short, like hairs up here, if I twist even the longest hairs up here, it means that that twisting action gets transferred to the root, and it means that you're kind of just sort of like moving it rotationally in the hair follicle, which means that it's more likely to get damaged and pull out. So that is another thing that I think really can make a beard hair fall out more often, because you're just sort of like applying direct force and direct damage right to the most problem part of the beard hair, which is right at the very base. One of the best ways to look after your beard to make sure that it doesn't fall out when you pull it or you twist it is by having a really healthy diet. Now, healthy diet doesn't mean you have to always stick to like these plant-based stuff with minimal meat. It just means having a massively varied diet. If you're always eating fast food, your body is not going to be getting the nutrients it needs. Now, I have got a PhD in chemistry, so whenever I talk about this stuff, I always want to look at the science. And I found a 2017 study that had a look at the deficiency in certain elements and the resulting effect on hair on the face. So this is what I found, and on the article I go through everything they say. Here it's just sort of like the biggest ones that they talked about in the article. So iron is a very, very important molecule and nutrient for, or element for, everything in your body. Every metabolic process seems to involve iron at some point, and there is a little bit of a link between iron deficiency and keeping your beard in the telogen phase for longer, so that resting phase for much longer. So if you've got an iron deficiency, which is one of the most common deficiencies in the world, you should actually look at upping your iron intake so that you kind of push your beard into the growth phase for as long as possible. The second thing is zinc. Zinc is very important, and it has been known to reverse hair loss in 5 patients. In science, that is not a significant study, so there's more to be done. But those preliminary results just show us that zinc has got an effect on the hair growth, and it's an important thing to make sure you have included in your diet. Selenium is the next one. Selenium. Rats have sparse hair growth if they are deficient in selenium. Now, rats and mice studies don't always translate to human studies, but the good thing about this is that we know that selenium therefore has a role in mammals in controlling the amount of hair growth that is on the body. And so if rats have this, it's probable, maybe not super connected in humans, but it's nice to see that there is a link between hair growth and selenium. So selenium is another one. Amino acids can result in not having as denser hair. So amino acids come from protein, so eating lots of good protein. Doesn't matter if it's meat-based or lentil-based or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Get protein in your diet. It's a good thing. And the last thing is biotin. Biotin can result in hair loss. Now, all of these studies just show that there is a direct link between what we eat and our beards. But a lot of these studies are underfunded, and they don't have a big sample base. And so what that means is that more studies need to be done to find out exactly what happens in our beards with the deficiencies. But these are the preliminary studies that kind of hint, but we shouldn't take them as gospel at the moment. So even though I've talked about them, there are still more studies and more things to be done. But it's always good and a nice little prompt and a nice reminder to say, you know what, have a varied diet. Go check out my other video where I talk about the best foods you can eat for your beard growth, and you'll get a much better idea. So there we have it. There's everything you need to know about why your beard looks like it's pulling out easily. Maybe it's not, maybe it's twisting, and maybe you've got a bit of a deficiency in your diet, and make sure you include a load of different varied things so that you can give your body the nutrients it needs to grow properly. All right then, if you've enjoyed this video, remember to give it a thumbs up. Go check out Beard Growing Pro, and I'll see you in the next video.